Right, 27 October 2024, and today is a Sunday, and I hope to give you a very interesting set of stories, trending stories from across our country. Gambakwe Media, the source of news and updates on everything that is happening like no other in our country. And I don't want to waste your time, so let me go through what is happening right now in our country. So today is a very important day. We are going to be seeing the burial of the chief who died in Harare. That is Chief Marupi. Is going to be buried today, and his body, if everything went as planned, was moved from Harare yesterday to Gwanda, and then he will be buried in his rural area. However, there is almost a blackout on the death of this chief, and I do not know what is causing this blackout, why the death of this chief is being blacked out. Something has gone wrong with the Chief Marupi, the youngest chief in Zimbabwe who died, but he's going to be buried today, and we're going to get more details. Something has happened over there, and we'll find out what it is very, very soon. So today I want to take you through something that my sources have told me, and it's also in today's press. That is to say, Mnangagwa was forced by the military to stop the ED 2030. But not only that, as soon as the military communicated that position, they left the conference. So they immediately left the conference and went away after communicating to Mnangagwa that he cannot go ahead with ED 2030. So there is going to be a massive set of events to follow, because the military has directly challenged Mnangagwa, who is now more powerful, Mnangagwa or the military. What is the implication of the military telling Mnangagwa that he cannot be the president beyond 2030? And what I said yesterday has been confirmed by the Standard newspaper. The Standard newspaper has provided information on what was the proposal. What is it that Mnangagwa wanted? And I'm going to take you through the three proposals that Mnangagwa had put on the table. So the first proposal that had been drafted was for Mnangagwa to go up to 2030, which is 2 years. And the second proposal was for Mnangagwa to go for a full 5-year term, which is up to 2034. And the third proposal was to stop elections altogether for 10 years until 2037 or 2038. So that is a 10-year moratorium on elections. So that is in the Standard newspaper. You can go and check out that Sunday newspaper of today. What they're saying, that Mnangagwa had proposed 3 plans, and this is what had been put on the table. And the third plan of a moratorium would have resulted in Parliament staying the way it is right now until 2038. And this would have assured support of people like Tshabangu and the other parties. So it was going to be a unipolar parliament. That is what they're saying over there, that Mnangagwa had made all these plans. It was only the military generals who told Mnangagwa that this was not possible, not support it, and therefore Mnangagwa's plans fell flat because of the refusal of the military to support his plans, and they immediately left that conference. By the time Patrick Chamisa said anything, there was no more military there. They had made their statement and they had said what they wanted to say, and Mnangagwa was on his own. So right now, we are now looking at what is going to happen this week. It's going to be a very interesting week. Mnangagwa is going to lash out. Mnangagwa is going to make certain moves because he's still the commander of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. And as I said, Mnangagwa is not without power anymore. He is going to still make some moves, because that resolution, although it was not passed, although it was not approved, it's still on the books. It is there. The resolution was made. It was supported by all the provinces. It's only the military that said, don't do it. So let's see what happens, how Mnangagwa is going to react, and how he's going to move forward. So Mnangagwa is a man who is going to do whatever it takes. And now we want to see what is going to happen. This man has got a bigger plan. He is not looking at a short term. Mnangagwa is looking at a dynasty, and he wants his sons to be the president of Zimbabwe. So the military, I do not know how they're going to proceed, but they have to be very strong. Otherwise, Manobatwa Ishkwa, my general, they have made a move. They must support that move with action. As I said, Chief Marupi being buried today, and then obviously that big story we have of Mnangagwa being abandoned by the generals after they told him to stop the 2030, and they have also given you what are the proposals. A key event for today is the former First Lady of the United States, Michelle Obama, has just completed a presentation today in support of Kamala Harris, and it's a very interesting proposal. She spent all the time speaking about reproductive health. So it means she was, they are looking at female supporters. So you can go check it out. Very, very interesting. Michelle Obama, for the first time, she has not been campaigning. She came out today for the first time. Beyonce Knowles was supposed to come, but she did not come. I did not see her. Maybe she came later on. I'll check it out, but she did not come. There are a lot of celebrities supporting Kamala Harris, but not as much as when Obama was a candidate. Now, I want to go to a breaking story that is taking place in South Africa. And this story is shocking. And this is to do with the Zimbabwean businessman. So, the Zimbabwean businessman, Trevor is a very prominent millionaire, and he wanted to be a ZANU-PF candidate. He was very connected to people like Jinimbi, one of the most successful youngsters or young business people in Zimbabwe, but best in South Africa. So Trevor Mbizo is going to be appearing in court on the 7th of November after he removed a condom during sex with the lazy Ramakone, a model here. Lazy Ramakone or Ramokone has reported him to the police at Centurion. This incident happened in 2021 when Trevor Mbizo, then her boyfriend, she recently divorced that time from her boyfriend, and on the 12th of January, she asked Trevor Mbizo to take an HIV test. Trevor Mbizo said he had taken the HIV test and he sent an HIV certificate. On the 13th, she questioned the HIV certificate. She said that HIV certificate looked odd and strange. So she took it to the police, a friend who was in the police, and a doctor who confirmed that the certificate was fake. They then traveled to Limpopo, and at that point, they did not sleep together. So they then traveled to Limpopo and spent a weekend together, and they did not sleep together. She refused to sleep with him before he took the HIV test. And then they went back to Johannesburg. After they returned to Johannesburg, Trevor was then asked to take another HIV test at Lancet, and he took that HIV test at Lancet. However, he refused to show her the results, and they agreed to have sex using a condom. During sex, Trevor removed the condom, and when she finished, she realized that Trevor had removed the condom. Then, after that, Trevor, or Mbizo, or her commander, disappeared, and he was no longer taking her calls. So she went and made a police report at the Centurion police station. So that is Lacey Ramokone here. She went and made a police report and started to take PEP, or post-exposure prophylaxis, That is the pill that you take, or the treatment that you take when you've been exposed to HIV. And then she obviously made that police report. After she made the police report and started taking PEP, men started to follow her around and they shot at her. They then hacked her phone and planted listening devices after she reported this to the police. And the drones were seen over her house. So Trevor Mbizo, or her commander, has been trying to ask the National Director of Public Prosecutions here in South Africa not to go ahead with the case, but they've decided to go ahead with the case, and he's going to be appearing in court for rape and fraud on the 7th of November. So that is Trevor Mbizo, or her commander, who was supposed to be a ZANU-PF candidate. I do not know what happened, and I did meet him one of the days when Christopher Mnangagwa was here at a hotel over there where they were having a meeting. And at that time, I think Jethro has got a video of Trevor Mbizo there speaking at that event. So I will ask Jethro to provide that video because Jethro was there, and I think Rutendo was also available on that day when Christopher Mnangagwa was speaking here in Johannesburg. So very strange case that has happened and is trending all over Zimbabwe and South Africa, obviously. The Zimbabwean businessman, flamboyant businessman, Trevor Mbizo, Simbarashe Mbizo, removing a condom while having sex with Lacey Ramokone, his former girlfriend, without her permission, and then disappearing after the act, never to be seen again. So that's the kind of thing that you expect from someone who was Njuzu's boyfriend. It's crazy, right? Okay, now let's go to another less dark story. And that is to do with a musician here in Zimbabwe, or a group of musicians in Zimbabwe. They sang a song called Ngoro Yeminana. And this is a very popular song with millions of views on YouTube. So this song has been removed from YouTube after the Zigzag Band reported that this song was stolen from their song called Gore Ramasare and Gomo Ramasare. And they want that song, they want payment, obviously. But this group refused to even listen. When they were approached, they refused to listen. So a copyright infringement report was made to YouTube, and the song Ngoro Yeminana, which had millions and millions of views, has been removed from YouTube. You can go check out that story in the Standard newspaper. Then let's look at other stories making the headlines. Tito Mboweni, the former and the late finance minister of South Africa, there has been a massive development after Mbeki was removed as a speaker, and the family of Tito Mboweni has gone and apologized to former President Mbeki for his removal from the program. And the reason why he was removed is because the presidents of South Africa, the people who were arranging, did not want him to speak. So now he has gone on YouTube and has made the speech on YouTube. He could not speak there at the funeral. He has made the speech on YouTube, and the family has gone to apologize. Apparently, there was a pact between Tito Mboweni and Mbeki that whoever dies first, the other would speak at the one's funeral, the one who died. And this was not obeyed. And the family is saying that this is very bad because they've disobeyed the last wishes of Tito Mboweni. Tito Mboweni left a handwritten note before he died, explaining that he wanted Thabo Mbeki to speak and also giving instructions of even what was supposed to be eaten at the funeral. So he's that kind of man who had planned everything, and it's unfortunate that they disobeyed his orders. Right, I think, let me see if the newspapers have published. Let's look at what else has been published. As I said, the biggest story today being that the Zimbabwe military left soon after telling Mnangagwa that he cannot proceed with ED 2030. And Mnangagwa's plans have now been laid bare. They've now been shown what exactly was the plan. The plan was 2030, 2 years extension to 2030, 5-year extension to 2034, or a a moratorium on election for 10 years until 2038 with one parliament, the same parliament that we have now, staying until that time. So all that has failed because the military said there is no way that can happen in Zimbabwe. They do not want the dynasty of Mnangagwa. Right, let me now see if there's anything else that is happening. The Zimbabwe Lawyers for Human Rights has issued a statement on human rights in Zimbabwe. We have the sad situation where 68 people are currently in jail without trial, and they've been in that jail for over 140 days. Mnangagwa is becoming a problem in our region. It doesn't make sense what Mnangagwa is doing, and someone has to intervene. And I'm not sure who is going to intervene given the current situation with Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa is the chairman of SADC. There is nowhere to run because Mnangagwa is just doing as he pleases in our country. Let me see if the Sunday Mail has published. So let's see what the Sunday Mail is leading with. And if there's anything of interest, I'm going to obviously show you. So let's quickly browse through this newspaper together and see if there's anything of interest here. So I'm going to take you through the Sunday Mail newspaper. Firstly, and strange enough, there is the story of development programs. So that is what Mnangagwa is leading with here. Harare master plan delay ex-government. So Harare has not yet issued a master plan. And I would like to say that this is going to be very important. Zimbabwe lacks a CBD, Harare lacks a CBD. There is no proper accommodation or high value accommodation in Zimbabwe. So what I would expect right now is a total change of plans. Everything that is happening in Zimbabwe right now, you need to change everything. Mnangagwa's approach is very poor. He's not doing what needs to be done. Zimbabwe needs a rethink and a redesign. So high-speed rail, planned cities, and a connection which will make it possible for a tourist to land at Victoria Falls, 3 hours there in Harare, and they're able to go up to the beach in Beira and go all the way up to Zambia, then go to Botswana. It should be quick, and moving around Zimbabwe should be fast. That way, our tourism is going to boom, and Zimbabwe will be able to become a first world country. At the moment, if a tourist lands at Victoria Falls, they will spend days and days on the road, wasting their time traveling on broken roads. So what we need right now is a high-speed rail. And that high-speed rail is going to be essential. And we're going to be pushing for high-speed rail. 2025, that's all I'll be doing. High-speed rail, planned cities, that's all we'll be talking about. And homecoming, obviously. We want to be talking about homecoming. If a proper leader comes into our country, you're going to see that in less than 5 years, Zimbabwe will be a first world country. Zimbabwe is geographically the only country which is likely to become a first world country. If you put a station at Gweru, a hub, 2 hours from every location in the country by high-speed rail. There is no country like that. And the high density of minerals around Zimbabwe is such that you'll be able to develop that country very, very quickly. Tourists would flock to a country. Imagine if a tourist can go to Matopo, Victoria Falls, Wange, Gonarozhou, and all those places quickly and efficiently. Zimbabwe will become a place where there's great value for a tourist, unlike other countries. Imagine Mozambique, hundreds and thousands of kilometers across each other. Zimbabwe, everything together. And Mnangagwa is failing to change our country into a hub, into a country that makes sense. He's talking about things that don't make sense, things where we don't have a competitive advantage. That is where Mnangagwa wastes his time. And we want a new leader that is clear that Mnangagwa is failed. Mnangagwa arikura vanhu nenzara. And yesterday, Chamisa was out. I saw a video of Chamisa speaking. And he said that he's not going to be working with anyone from the past. He once again said that. He said something new is coming. He did not say what it is. So I want to see what it is that Chamisa is going to come up with. I have been engaging with Chamisa's guys, but that engagement has sort of led to me believing that there's a lot of frustration. Guys don't understand the plan. And people are not clear who is that person who's going to work with Chamisa. Because Chamisa says he wants to work with new people. Who are those new people? Chamisa. I need to ask that question because when Chamisa came out, he says he's going to work with everyone, including people in ZANU-PF. So he says he's going to work with people, even those in ZANU-PF. So we want that plan to come out. And obviously, as I'm traveling overseas, and as I'll be meeting and engaging with Zimbabweans from all over the world, they will be obviously needing to ask that question and get answers. Is Chamisa going to contest? Is he going to be a presidential candidate? Or is he going to work within the ZANU-PF structures? Remember what Divine Mafa has been spreading this past week. Is that the truth? Is that what is going to happen? So I find it, we're at a point where we need more clarity right now about Chamisa's plans. And it will be shocking if what Divine Mafa is saying is true. And I hope that he's lying about what he's saying. Although he's normally almost 99% correct. When I talk to Divine Mafa, I know often hear things that I don't believe, but then they turn out to be true at the end of the day. So what is it that Chamisa is saying when he says that there's no more party, there's no more ZANU-PF, there's no more CC, there's no more blue? What is it that he's saying about working with ZANU-PF? So very, very important to note, and I hope that one day we'll be able to sit with Chamisa and have that discussion to say, what is it that he's planning to do? He said he's no longer working with anyone that you know that he was working with before. So that video is there on Change Radio. I think it's there because I've got the video on my phone, but I want to unpack it later on tonight. So that is Chamisa. Let's see if we can find that video right now, because there's no reason for us to delay. We've got everything on our fingertips. So I want to see if that video will pop up. It was in Gutu, from my understanding, where he was talking. And I want to check it here. Okay, I'm not seeing it here. And I'll try to bring it tonight so that we unpack what it is that Chamisa is saying about working with ZANU-PF and about his new plan. So Chamisa has said it, and it's very, very confusing. So I got very confused when I watched that. Where was that? He was saying people can sleep at that venue. What was the venue? What was the function? Very, very important for us to understand what Chamisa is doing and what he's planning. So as I said, I've got the video and I'm going to present it to you tonight if they've removed it from online platforms, because I can't see Change Radio anymore here. I don't know why I'm not seeing it on my YouTube. Right, I think we've covered most of what I wanted to cover tonight, this morning. Let's see if there's anything else. Yes, Kama Billiard is now the top goal scorer, soccer star of the year, and he is scored so many goals. Kama Billiard, since he came into the league, he has brought Iada up to the top. And there's a young man called Walter Musona, doing very, very well, following the footsteps, I think, of his older brother, Knowledge Musona. And then obviously we have the story of Peter Ndlovu. Peter Ndlovu is vying to become the ZIFA chairman. So Peter Ndlovu is very popular and he wants to become the ZIFA chairman. He is contesting, going up against people like Walter Magaya, but Peter Ndlovu probably the right person because he's got so much respect and he's a veteran of playing soccer. So let's see what happens. That election is going to take place in January 2025. That is when there's going to be the election for the ZIFA chairmanship or presidency. Right, so let's recap. Obviously, I'm going to come tonight if there's anything of interest. There's always a lot of interesting stories on a Sunday. And I also believe that Rice Kagona is going to be buried, if I'm not mistaken, tonight. So there is a lot happening today. I'm going to bring all those things that we need to bring to you, adverts and so forth, tonight when I come here. I'm going to come back tonight, definitely. And please go and have a look at the video that I did yesterday with Mpiwa. That is, she's based in Singapore. She's a musician, recently performed at the United Nations, and you can check out all that she's doing. She's going to be doing a lot of things here on Gambakwe, promoting her brand. So go check out Mpure, and I'll be talking to her regularly. So let's recap, and let me talk about what has happened to the Zimbabwe military. Mnangagwa had a plan going into the ZANU-PF annual National People's Conference. The plan was to get approval for a resolution to extend his term. And the extension was going to be based on 3 approaches. The first approach was Mnangagwa going for 2 years to 2030, wait for the young boys to grow up and make one of his sons a president. Or he was going to go all the way up to 2034, after which there will be an election, or there will be no elections between 2028 and 2038, 10 years of moratorium with the same parliament, while he said the economy would recover. So that is what had been proposed. However, all these plans fell flat, although all the provinces of ZANU-PF approved this resolution. The Zimbabwe Military Generals refused and left the meeting soon after telling Mnangagwa that they would not support it and it did not happen. So they left the venue in Bulawayo at ZITF, and by the time that Patrick Chamisa made the announcement, they were not there, which means they had told him that if they do pass that resolution, action would follow. So that is basically what it means. Action was going to follow if Mnangagwa had continued with his 2030 plans, and the military had already drawn the line. And that is what had happened here. And as I said, this story, amazing, we're going to be following it up to the 7th of November, when Hell Commander is going to be appeared in court for removing a condom during sex with this young lady, Lazy Ramakone, who has reported him to the police. This happened in 2021. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I'll see you again tonight at 9:10 p.m. However, before I leave, the most popular person in Mozambique, opposition candidate Venancio Mondlane, who has done very, very well in the past elections, resulting in Frelimo rigging extensively, has fled Mozambique and is now in South Africa. So Venancio Mondlane has fled Mozambique for South Africa, and the people that allowed him to pass through the border are now in trouble with the Mozambique authorities for allowing him to leave Mozambique. There is massive violence taking place in Mozambique, and Frelimo yesterday failed to launch their celebrations because young people are protesting. Police are being beaten up and some are being killed inside Mozambique. And currently, there is burning of police stations taking place in various places in Mozambique. Massive unrest taking place after the rigging of elections by Frelimo. This is very sad, what is happening in Mozambique. And it's all connected to Mnangagwa. You're going to see Tinashe Jonasi coming here on Monday to explain what is happening. So I'd like to thank all of you for watching. I'll see you again later on in the evening, and a good day